Hey everybody, it is Nathan Selove with a special video today. So I'm actually going to be taking next week off from the channel because next week I am going to be on vacation celebrating my anniversary with Jess. Now normally when I do something like that, I make videos ahead of time, like the week ahead of time. However, I barely have time to make this video this week because this is finals week for me, which means that I'm doing a lot of grading. Now, what's kind of funny is that Jess and I actually have disagreements as to when we should be celebrating our anniversary because in her mind, our anniversary is when we first got together, when we first officially started dating. And in my mind, it's when we got married. So as some of those arguments have been coming out again, it actually reminded me of a time in which I thought I was dating a neurotypical. And so I thought it would be fun to make a video discussing that. So this video is about that time I thought I was dating a neurotypical. Now what's kind of funny about this is that before Jess came out and told everybody that she was autistic, and before we were public about that on this channel, I had a lot of people commenting saying, hey, I think she's autistic. But what's funny is that at the time, we did know that, we weren't being public about it. However, there were a few months early in our relationship in which I straight up did not know. And it probably should have been obvious. You see, I kept telling her about some of my autistic tendencies, like the fact that I had trouble in crowds, the fact that I had trouble with certain fabrics or certain textures. And she would always be like, yeah, I got that too. And for a while, I thought she was just doing that platitude that some neurotypicals do where they try to relate their own experience to your experience without actually understanding your experience. For example, when I tell a neurotypical, hey, I have trouble in crowds, they might say, oh yeah, no, I completely understand that. I hate crowds too. Now, the issue is, for them, a crowd might be a minor inconvenience for them. For me, it feels like someone's drilling a hole in my head. And the funny thing is, it actually got more and more obvious as time went on, and I still wasn't noticing it, which is weird because usually I'm really good at noticing that stuff. Like, for example, she would sometimes say that she doesn't like cheese, and I'd be like, oh, well, that's strange. Cheese tastes wonderful. And she would be like, oh, no, I like the taste of cheese. I just can't eat it because I can't stand the texture. And somehow, over the head. Or she would do something that some people might find socially inappropriate, like graphically describe how childbirth works at the kitchen table while we were eating dinner, and again, I was almost cartoonishly ignorant of her autism. And I would sometimes have people like my mother or my father be like, hey, have you considered that Jess might be autistic? And I was like, no, she's probably just quirky. I know. I said that. But the thing that made me finally realize it was that there was this moment where we were at my house and we were at the dinner table. My dad was there and Jess was there, and we were talking about eye contact. And Jess had mentioned, oh, well, yeah, I sometimes feel really uncomfortable with eye contact, but I find that if you just look at the ridge of someone's nose between their eyes, then they'll never know that you're not making eye contact with you. And at that moment, my dad and I just kind of looked at each other, and normally autistics aren't great with nonverbal communication, but we had a nonverbal conversation with each other in which my dad basically said, I told you so. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, no, she's autistic. Anyway, interestingly enough, I always had this idea in my head that I was probably going to end up with a neurotypical, but that's not what happened. And I'm really happy with how things turned out. So I guess don't make assumptions about how your dating life is going to go, and try to be open-minded about whether or not your partner might be autistic. And if you or your partner or both of you happen to be autistic, then I really hope that you find some of the videos and the content on this channel helpful, because I think that autism romance is a beautiful thing. And I am really appreciative of the time that I've had with my own partner. And happy anniversary, darling. Well, that's today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, check out some of my other stuff, and I'm on Twitter, so you can follow me, @NathanCLove. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, support me on Patreon. And you will see me in the next one.